Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and this is my daughter.
Autumn Garibay. Hello.
Hi. All right, and today we're going to talk about Super Tuesday. Now, you've heard my old Gen X opinions on Super Tuesday, but Autumn is a genuine millennial. And we're going to get a millennial's take on what happened in Super Tuesday. So, first of all, you had thought that it was very interesting that Super Tuesday, for some people, was spectated like
The Super Bowl, like sports.
Yeah.
Growing up with my father, who is very, very into politics, he absolutely treats it like a sport, and even compares this election race to his like Super Bowl season.
It's true.
But in seeing at college, he's not the only one. The political science like majors and clubs would go to actually went to the local bar and got like appetizers and drinks and watched them with the Super Tuesday coverage, just like you would do for the Super Bowl. I'm saying that I watched from home, but even the coverage, it was a spectacle, and as they were saying, truly super. And it was almost refreshing getting to see the same excitement I saw at home, even at college. Yeah,
I'm excited about that too, because it does seem like, because so many people ignore politics, it's really nice to hear there are other people like me who get like super hyped about it.
Very true.
And are really into it, and it really is exciting. So that is good. All right, so Super Tuesday really lived up to its name in a lot of ways. So there were 15 states, 1,350 delegates. The breakdown was 574 delegates for Joe Biden, 480 delegates for Bernie Sanders, and 2 delegates for Tulsi Gabbard. What is your take on those numbers? What do you think?
They are strange
It
because so first off, it's a little discouraging seeing at the beginning of the race lots of women and people of color, and at the end seeing 2 white men and Tulsi Gabbard through that. And it's interesting, Tulsi Gabbard mixed in there. I'm glad she does have the delegates she does, and that she stayed in there. But it almost feels that she is a third of those people by volume. She's there, but certainly not by mass. She has 2 delegates as opposed to almost 1,000. And so, and in most coverage of it, she is just absolutely ignored because of that.
It's really wild. I've never seen anything like it, and it was really strange because, well, you know what? Let's not skip it. Let's talk about the political flotsam that got washed away by the tsunami of Super Tuesday that came in. So let's take them in order, okay? They started not getting knocked out early. So it went in the following order, okay? The first one out, sad face for you, was Pete Buttigieg. Now, not only did he go out a day before, he went out like Sunday, like maybe like a day and a half before Super Tuesday, but he immediately endorsed Joe Biden. So his quit was literally like, I quit, take my votes, take my supporters. What is your take on all of that?
It was crazy, both because of the proximity to Super Tuesday and also who it was. I was a fan of Pete.
He was your number 1 person, right? Am I right? Or
yes.
Was he your favorite candidate out of all of them, or did you have somebody you liked better?
After Yang, but
after
Yang, yes. Pete was my top. I think that it was very interesting though, and I think this might hold true for some of the others that dropped as well. But you mentioned that it could be a setup for vice president, and we don't know that yet, but I think it's a possibility. And I also think in this campaign, vice presidents are going to be more important than ever because the candidates are considerably older.
There's almost a guarantee. Well, I would say you have a very high probability that your VP is going to be your president. And it doesn't even, like, because of the ages, you don't even need a life exit to have that. There are all kinds of situations where
True.
You know, you wouldn't need. I mean, we're about to have an 80-year-old president, and we have a global health. It's a mess. It is. I've never seen anything like this.
Yeah.
So, all right. So Pete. Now, I'm curious. Do you think that was fair of Pete to deny his voters the right to vote for him on the big day?
Yeah, that's a good question, because I think almost in contrast to Elizabeth Warren, who also votes but dropped out afterwards. I don't think so. I wouldn't name it as unfair, because I think that the most quote unquote noble thing to do here would be Tulsi Gabbard, even with 2 delegates still holding on. And everyone we're about to talk about has not done that. So
right. It's wild.
Yeah.
And what really blows my mind, I haven't even talked about this yet, and I'm really curious of your opinion. They folded, and the 2 people they folded to are so weak, like literally and figuratively.
Yeah,
like,
very true.
Right, like they're like these candidates are not like, oh no, here comes Joe Biden. Like, he is very, very beatable, right? And so is Bernie Sanders. Like blow, and you can knock these people over. Like, it seems like I have no idea why people were running scared of these candidates, right? Like, it seems like it's really shocking to me, and it's very, like, I talked about it a little, but like, you know, the room where it happened. You know, they talk about it in Hamilton, and you're like, boy, I would have loved to have been in on that discussion, boy, you know. But so we talked about Pete. I see what you're saying. Okay, Pete goes out, right? Immediately, Amy Klobuchar does this same thing. I was blown away. I really thought she had a fighting spirit.
Right.
I was caught unawares. I thought she had like a heartland stalwart, like, you know, we're gonna be standing in the cornfields in the grain, and like she was like, nope, I'm out. Joe's the guy. I was stunned. Were you surprised?
I was less surprised than Pete. That was the most shocking for me. And every subsequent one, it is almost hard not to see it as like this cause and effect. Like, and I think that is what you've gotten at, and Pete almost being a little disrespectful of those under him, dropping out as though his didn't matter when others have
supporters
left.
Didn't matter,
so,
right? Yeah.
So I hope Amy Klobuchar wasn't stepping down from that mindset in the, if Pete can't do it, neither can I. But the proximity is just,
yeah, it was crazy. Like,
consequential,
and there was
yeah.
there was tape of her on Sunday saying that she was planning on running, and then on Monday, you know, she was out, right?
Yeah.
All right. So after that, it was Mike Bloomberg spent $500 million. I pretty much your laughter is exactly
he's laughable.
Right,
yeah,
exactly.
Honestly.
He spent he tried to win the presidency with nothing but a wallet, and I'm like, you can't do that.
Mm-hmm.
So that was my take. What did you think of him?
Goodness. So actually, particularly for Super Tuesday, when I was watching the coverage, I also went back to watch the Las Vegas debate, and it was very interesting, and I think definitely showed also Pete's also my favorite, and he demonstrated my attitude towards Bloomberg there, because Bloomberg was evading questions about his taxes and be like, hey, I just got in here, and he was like, we've all been here.
Yeah.
You don't get to just jump in. And this was absolute proof of that you can't just buy your way in.
Which is exciting that we now know that, because people have been saying that the position is for sale, and clearly it's not.
And I feel like so many people have been trying to. And yeah.
So you have to do, like, that was good to see that you can't just buy the election, right? And so so people keep saying it's rigged, and certainly the system isn't the way we want. But it's not fully rigged, and you simply can't just buy the system. That's clear now.
Yeah.
Which is really shocking. Last one was really fascinating, which was, by the way, so Amy Klobuchar and Pete, they didn't even give their voters a chance to decide. They took that right away from them, which I think was pretty shocking. Mike Bloomberg was like, hey, vote for me. And the people were like, no. And then when the people said no, he's like, oh, well, I lost, right? Elizabeth Warren did the same thing. She's like, I ain't bending the knee to King Joe. She went through the election and she gave her voters a chance to vote. The people said no. She got a few, handful of delegates that turned into ash when she quit, but she didn't quit like most people. She had a literally tearful. Right. She was like tearful, very emotional. She talked about the Prinky promises with the little girls, and it was really important because when she did, well, we talked about Tulsi, but a lot when Elizabeth went out, people were like, "That's it, ain't gonna be no female president," right? Which, Tulsi has two delegates, right? I get it, right? Like the other two have hundreds, right? So let's pretend that the rest of the media is there. What was your take on? So I have 3 questions on Elizabeth Warren.
Yeah.
How did you? I believe it or not, I thought she was the most gracious and had the most impressive exit. Do you think that's true or false?
True.
Yeah. I was really impressed because I didn't really like her as a candidate for a whole lot of reasons, but I was incredibly impressed with her exit. And when she exited, you could see her genuineness. Like she had been in it. Like I had really bought Amy Klobuchar's whole line. Like,
Right.
But then when she bowed out, I was like, was all that spin? Yeah. I was like, you ain't riding your John Deere tractor like that. I really felt a little rooked, right? Mm-hmm. But it was the exact opposite. I thought that like Elizabeth Warren was like this, kind of like placating, like propositioning politician, but like the tears were just coming down her face, and she was like, it was true that she had left nothing on the field, and it was real. Like she was really there. And it broke her. You could tell, right? That was my take. What was your take on Elizabeth? What was your take? So what was your take on Elizabeth? Then let's go to the next question.
Yeah, I liked her as a candidate. I wish the Super Tuesday had gone a little more in her favor.
That she had stayed in longer.
Yeah, and also that she had stayed in because before she left, when it was Bernie, Biden, Tulsi, and her. What I was saying with the third by weight, it was kind of half and half, like men and women while she was in, which that she's not only there to be like a woman for president, and that's also shows she was genuinely wanted to be the president of the United States, in addition to being the first woman president of the United States, and that's something I honestly think is in contrast to Bernie and Biden, particularly Biden, you've mentioned, kind of a motive to not have Trump be president. Whereas Warren, I think most Democrats want that, but she absolutely wanted to be president.
Right,
as well.
That is exactly right. And I have to say, I'm going to confess to you and the world at the same time. I feel, after seeing the very genuine exit of Elizabeth Warren, I feel like I've done her wrong a little bit in that I lumped her in with Biden and Bernie because I was like, I don't want any of these people, right? But if I had known that it was going to come, I never thought in my wildest imaginations that it could come down to Biden and Bernie. Like, I never thought that America could be that foolish, frankly, right? And if I had known that, frankly, now I can see it like very clearly. I do think Elizabeth Warren was a better candidate than Biden or Bernie. I never bothered to even say that because I never thought that the frame would be there, right? And so I really feel bad that I didn't spend more time talking about and considering Elizabeth Warren as a real candidate, because never in my wildest imaginations did I think we were going to end up in this particular wasteland where like it was going to be between Biden and Bernie, because one, Bernie's off the charts. But Bernie, like, I can't even consider him because he's a socialist. Biden, you're exactly right. Elizabeth Warren genuinely wanted the job, right? And she's not an experiment, right? There have been presidents who are older than her. Like, it's not an experiment. Like, Biden and Bernie are both experiments. This has never happened, right? Whereas Elizabeth, we have a president who's older than her right now, right? So I really do feel like I should have given her more credit when she was there. So like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Thank you for that.
yeah,
I think also sort of wrapped up into all of that was her being, I think, the primary woman in the race, and now not being in that. And no, she would not be. She's not an experiment for age. I think a lot of people were viewing her as an experiment for another
right,
woman candidate.
right. That's true. Yeah. So let's talk about that.
Yeah.
What do you think of the end of a distinct possibility? We still have a
Right.
incredibly remote possibility.
Right.
That's a good way of thinking about
Yeah.
it. Elizabeth Warren wasn't a long shot. She was a shot, right?
Yeah.
Tulsi is an incredibly long shot, right?
She is.
So we are out of the days where there's a good chance that there will be a female president. We're past that. This is the second time in like 6-7 years that America has considered a female president, and America has said no. What's your thoughts on that? Why do you think we landed here? What do you think?
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. I think that America will have a woman president someday, somehow. I think it makes a little bit of sense that America was not going to have a woman president for 2020, because we all just have like the image of 2016 still like fresh in our mind.
Exactly. Yeah.
And again, with that mindset of not winning but just beating Trump, I think there's a tendency to want to go back to the 43 era presidents, just because the loss of Hillary Clinton was such a hit to the Democratic Party.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it really is sad. And I think one of the things, that just continues to get reforged in my mind is how everybody already gives him so much credit, but I don't think anybody had any idea what a colossal feat Obama achieved, right?
Yeah.
Like, breaking that, shattering that 2-attribute president.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be these 2 attributes, and if you're not going to be president. And here we are in 2020, and the 2 attributes are being put right back in place. They're being mortared up, bricked in, and it is frustrating because, I think, I was really excited about Andrew Yang. Of course, I'm a huge fan of Asian culture, and I really feel like having an Asian as a president would have given us a whole set of new cultural, like, treasure boxes to just kind of open that we really haven't had before in a president. And I know for a fact that there were thousands and thousands of women who were lined up with Amy, lined up with Elizabeth, and just like I'm disappointed that Andrew Yang's out, they're disappointed. And like, there's a lot of sadness overall in everything that we're seeing here. So that's all 4, right? So you have a sweep of all 4 of those candidates. Super Tuesday was truly super. It shocked the world. It definitely shocked America, and I was really shocked. So as a millennial, you've witnessed Super Tuesday. What are any final thoughts you have on the event, and what do you think about the future we have unfolding?
Yeah, Super Tuesday as an event, I think was very consequential in wiping away the chaff and establishing these 3 people that now do have delegates. Every time I see or hear about it, though, I'm still a little baffled by the structure, the structure of Super Tuesday that the Democratic Party has set up, and something they brought up in the Las Vegas debate as well, and that this is something that Democrats trust a lot in, more so than many other things. And it's been interesting to see in 2020 how the results of that. I'm interested to see how, as a nation, but particularly the Democratic Party, will react to that. Like, is this what they wanted? And how will it fare against further into the election? So it'll be interesting. Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for discussing this. I want to tell you out there, so Autumn is sharpening her skills as a political commentator, But her skills as an artist are absolutely razor sharp, and the link for her channel, which has a lot of her amazing art on it, is right down below. Definitely check it out. And we really want to thank you for letting us share our ideas about Super Tuesday with you. Please consider liking and subscribing, and definitely make sure you check out Autumn's channel. And please have a wonderful millennium.